Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the morning show, man. I know it's early. I know it's a lot early for some of you guys, but I am always here. My boy Mo Better is always here, and we ready. Y'all get your coffee, get everything you need, wake yourself up, and we got a good morning show for you guys to start off the day. I got my boy always present, always a part of the morning show. Mo Better, how you doing, Mo?
Feeling blessed, Coach, and ready to go.
Ready to go? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm ready to go. So we got some good variety of topics for you guys today. We're going to go over the slate of games, playoff games, what happened yesterday. Also, we're going to go over the Draymond Green play, which I thought that was foul. That was pretty foul for what he did. And we're going to go over the 76ers, Jaren Jackson Jr. winning the Defensive Player of the Year award. In 65 games, a minimum to win the award. Should they charged out the NBA? And we're going to go with Jalen Hurts' big contract. What does it mean for Lamar Jackson? So again, first topic, we're going to just go over the slate of games, what happened yesterday. We got two teams who took commanding leads last night. We got the Brooklyn Nets took a commanding 2-0. We got the Sixers took a commanding 2-0 lead over the Brooklyn Nets by beating the Brooklyn Nets 96-84. It was pretty much a defensive struggle. I'll say the Sixers ended up pulling off in the fourth quarter, but they did end up having some trouble in the first half with Brooklyn. Cameron Johnson, was doing everything he wanted to do, making 3-point shots in the first half. Then he cooled off in the second half. He could never get back going. The Sixers only made 11 threes. They both shot 31% from the field. But the Sixers pounded them on the boards. They out-rebounded them by 23. The Sixers also won with 19 turnovers. So the Sixers basically played a sloppy game. The problem is Brooklyn couldn't get any offensive flow in the second half. They couldn't make a shot in the second half. Cam Johnson had 28, but all of that was mostly in the first half. He had 20 points in the first half. Miguel Bridges could never get going. It wasn't too much offensively on the offensive side, but I like the game plan they came out with. They not letting Joel Embiid beating them. They come out, they doubled him real hard and aggressive, made him give up the ball. And I thought the problem is they kind of stopped doubling them a little bit in the second half. They took their foot off the gas, but the problem on offense, they could not get nothing going at all on the offensive side of the basketball. So, Mo, what did you think about this game?
Tell it two halves, tell it two philosophies. The first half, Brooklyn did exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to play fast. They wanted to run the Sixers, and they were effective. If Brooklyn can speed the game up, that's going to bode well for them. The Sixers aren't built to play fast. The interesting thing about this game was the way that the refs, I don't want to say swallowed their whistles, but they let them play. They allowed a lot of physicality, a lot of contact, a lot of collisions, and there were no calls on both sides. And if you dislike or like 90s styles basketball, that was pretty close. That was pretty close. Low scoring game. The Sixers, I thought Doc, sometimes we criticize Doc for not making adjustments. They made a really big adjustment in that instead of waiting to guard guys when they got the ball, they were face guarding and all over Cameron Johnson in the second half. They were making him work to get looks. They did the same thing with Mikal Bridges. Like, they got into their bodies. They were a lot more physical with them. And when you take away those two guys, you're reliant on Spencer Dinwiddie to make shots or create, and he just didn't have a really good game. I'm going to give the Sixers credit because of their defense. Obviously, they're the bigger, more physical team. Look, if it's going to be a grind, if Doc's going to say we're going to walk it up and we're going to make it physical and make it a grind about half-court execution, this is going to be a short series. Brooklyn can only win this when the game sped up because they're a much smaller team. They're going to get killed on the boards anyway. Like, they did the right thing, like you said, Coach, in the first. You got to double team him, to me, throughout the game and live with somebody beating you. To his credit, Terrence Maxey was making shots. But he's not the reason they won alone. A guy that you always bring up that nobody talks about, they sleep on, Tobias Harris, again, was productive. He showed he's more than a catch-and-shoot guy. And if you're going to give Tobias Harris the opportunity to get buckets, that makes the Sixers a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, but I said that, I remember I elaborated that yesterday. That man get a lot of shit for that contract. That's why most people mix emotions in Philly. And then again, he's a fourth option. He's not going to be hot all the time when he's not touching the ball all the time. When James Harden and Joel Embiid and Maxey getting a lot of those touches, he's not going to be hot all the time. So again, when they are giving him the ball, and I've seen a lot of him going up on the block, posting up yesterday, getting into the lane easier. I mean, the guy can score when you give him an opportunity, but they give him a lot of crap because of that contract. And I mean, like I say, again, that should have been Jimmy Butler money that they paid him. They made
100%. 100%.
Yeah, they paid him up on that. But again, the man can drop you 20 points. He can drop you 20 points. Yeah, I know that's not Jimmy Butler contract light, dropping you 20 points. I know that's not what you want, but the man is a key to the Philadelphia getting to the trying to get to their first Eastern Conference Finals, man. But I think that's going to change against Boston. I think Boston, you tell me Boston is not a much better team than Brooklyn. They are a much better team than Brooklyn. And right now, the Brooklyn Nets, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm coming out same game plan in game 3. I thought it worked to a lot of extent in game 3. Double Joel Embiid, but you got to hard double him, man. You got to hard double him, and you got to hurry up to recover and get back on Tyrese Maxey them. So I like the game plan. The game was slow paced in the first half, which is it was working for them. The game was really in their favor. And then Tyrese Maxey started getting hot, getting wide open. He's starting to get hot, knock down some threes, and Tobias Harris started getting into the lane. They kind of softened up the double team, and I thought they stopped doubling for a little bit, but
Coach, I think that made a difference. I think that made a difference because when they stopped doubling, it allowed Embiid to see the whole court, and he actually got a couple buckets, and then it opened things up for everybody else. You touched on this the other day that, hey, they're going to live with James Harden hitting tough fallaways, and he didn't make them. Big difference. He didn't make them, and what happened was he was lucky because had they lost, them Philly fans would have killed him. But Maxey, Tobias Harris, they kind of saved him because both of those guys had big numbers. And I want to give credit to DeAnthony Melton and his defense because DeAnthony Melton was getting up in people. Like, he was all over the floor. The Sixers look really good. The Nets are very small. It looks like it could be a sweep, but I'm going to give Brooklyn credit. I still think Brooklyn has it in them to get at least one game at home.
Yep. Got you on that one. Gotcha. So we got the pretty much the game of the night again. The Kings just keep proving, man. They proven they done this in the regular season. They putting it to the playoffs. They protect their home court. Now it's time for the Golden State Warriors to go back in Golden State to try to protect their home court. But the way Golden State look, I don't like the way they look. Kings only made 9 threes. Golden State made 13 threes. The game, Sacramento went to the free throw line 29 times. They both had 41 rebounds. The problem for Golden State, 22 turnovers. It was a sloppy game in the first half. Sacramento had 10. They cut down on those turnovers early in the game. They only had 4 turnovers throughout the whole game after they got those 10 turnovers. Golden State was turning the ball over every single time. They touched the ball pretty much. Fast break points. The Kings got out in the fast break. And we already know just because the Warriors are so small, the Kings are going to outpace them in the paint. This Warriors team look very old. They look like they're very old. Again, I mean, Sacramento, was getting to the lane anytime they want. Even when Golden State tried to play zone, Sacramento tried to was still getting into the lane. Malik Monk showed up again last night. He was doing whatever he wanted. That spin move, step back, jump shot was amazing.
It was.
Kaminga, that was just amazing. Sabonis had a way better game. We said this yesterday morning. He won't have that type of game, but he had a better game. He was killing on the boards. They had no idea how to stop him. He was forcing Looney, Draymond Green to foul him. 24 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Harrison Barnes with 13 points. De'Aaron Fox starting to turn on in the fourth quarter with 24 points with the big three at the top of the three. Kevin Huerter got going early. Davion Mitchell hit the biggest shot of the game in the left corner over there, the seal of pretty much victory. And Malik Monk coming off with 18 points. But the problem is Golden State looked old. Sacramento was beating them to every loose ball. They were more faster team. They were playing at a more faster pace. They were forcing turnovers. They were ball pressuring Steph Curry, making those guys work. And while the Kings were getting comfortable shot after comfortable shots. And plus, when you're getting ball pressure, that leads into a lot of turnovers. And you got to give credit to Davion Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox, how they was guarding. But Golden State look clueless out there, man. They look really old, man. For the first time, but I haven't seen them. They look really old. And the Kings look like a much faster team out there. So, Mo, what you think about this game?
Coach, you took the words right out of my mouth. They were just quicker and faster all night to all 50-50 balls. They seemed more aggressive. They didn't lack for confidence. There was a point in the game, and I know you know this, Golden State makes a big run. And before you know it, it's a 1-point lead. And it felt like a turning point where Golden State was about to seize control. The Kings locked down on defense, get 2 stops, and then Davion Mitchell hits that big three. And it seemed like it energized the rest of the team, and it kind of got them on the road to winning the basketball game. Look, I'm not surprised that the Kings are the younger, more athletic team. I'm not surprised that they're winning the battle of the boards. Sabonis is a monster. Even when he didn't look as strong in game 1, but I thought he was really more patient with his catches, and he wasn't rushing shots, and he was finishing at the rim. I like the way he played defense. They're not known for defense, but here's the thing. Maybe what no one ever thought of is Golden State, because everybody said the Kings were a perfect matchup for Golden State. Maybe Golden State's a perfect matchup for the Kings because Golden State doesn't have a post presence. No. They have no post presence. Everything they have to do is off the bounce or off the catch. It's perimeter in. They have nobody they can throw the ball into and say, get us 15 to 20 points. They were trying to do something different. They were trying to post Wiggins up, but to the Kings wing defenders, they weren't having it. They weren't letting. I saw one time Wiggins tried to post Fox up, and Fox wasn't having it. Like, these young dudes, they're playing with a lot of confidence. And I agree with you. There were times when Golden State just looked like this is the end. This is the end of the run because Davion Mitchell, he's a great on-the-ball defender, but what he did really great in the fourth quarter was the way he guarded Steph off the ball. And that's a lot more challenging. When you're chasing him off a ball screen after ball screen, most guys get lost or get worn down. Steph couldn't shake him. And offensively about the Kings, I'm really impressed with Malik Monk because I knew coming into the series, Golden State knew that Fox was going to be a handful. They knew that Sabonis was going to be a handful. They weren't prepared for Malik Monk to look almost unguardable at times. They haven't had an answer for Malik Monk to this point. When you look at Fox and Monk, the way they're attacking the restricted area, they almost look like the same guy, except one's left-handed. I mean, they seem quicker than everybody else. They seem more athletic than everybody else. I'm not saying the series is over. What Sacramento did was big. They held serve. They're up 2-0. And I'm like you. Golden State is tested. They're proven. So I'm going to have to give the champs, I'm going to have to give them a punching chance that they're going to get back into this series. They've got to solve one or two problems. If you're not going to stop Fox, then you got to stop Monk, but you can't let them both get off. If they both get off, you can't win this series.
I mean, again, it looked like for last night, man, it looked like it's the end of a dynasty pretty much. But again, you can never Golden State been down 3-1 before, and they was able to come back and win the series. They were able to come back and win the series. So all they need to do is protect home court advantage. But like I say again, it feels like the Kings could go in there and win too. It does feel like the way they're playing, it does feel like they can go in there and take a game 2 as well. So it doesn't. I don't know if it's going to be game 3, game 4. It just seemed like all the Kings have to do is win one in Golden State. They win one in Golden State. It feels like it will be over.
Coach, it changes everything.
Yeah, it changes everything.
The Kings' confidence is through the roof. They did their job, and they're thinking like, we just need one. If they get one win on the road, I think the series is over. Because look, what's been consistent all year long, Golden State is a horrible road team. They have to defend home court to get back into this series. They lose one game, I think it's over.
Yep. And Mike Brown knows the system. He knows the system too. So you got to give him a lot of credit. He's been a part of that system. He knows what they do as well. And he's doing a great job of coaching against it and playing against it. And I mean, this Kings team looks so goddamn fast, man. I mean, last night, talking about De'Aaron Fox, goddamn. De'Aaron Fox was just, even when you had him shut down, you see him dribbling the ball, you see him go by people, goes by somebody, and you're like, golly, this man got darn fast. And it's just hard to stop this guy.
Coach, his mid-range, it don't look like a mid-range. Like
it don't.
He's so quick. When he raises up, he's actually inside the free throw line. It's a jump shot, but it's about 8 feet away. It's for him, it's like a long layup. It's money. He's so quick, and because he's so quick, you're the defender. You've got to stagger back and give him that space, and because of that, he's always going to raise up clean. You can't press him, and if you press him, blow by. I mean, he's got a first, second, third gear, and at times, like I said, I couldn't tell the difference. I was like, I didn't know Malik Monk was that quick. Like, he's got third gear. He's blowing by. Either Golden State is really old or Malik Monk is ultra quick. Maybe it's both.
I think it may be both. But my guy Malik Monk, hey, he that man got some underrated handles, man. That man can handle the basketball.
And hops.
And hops. He's very athletic, man. He's really athletic. And people give him credit. A lot of people give him credit for. So again, we got another topic that we're gonna go against. But like we the question was, are we surprised at the Kings' performance? No, we're not actually surprised. I think they've been doing it all year long. They've been outscoring guys all year long. Golden State, I mean, again, Golden State, to me, they really never been this fringe defensive team. You can always score it on Golden State. The problem is, can you keep it going for an entire of a game? Can you keep it going before they started? And when they get hot, would you be able to handle when they get on that big run? Would you be ready for those big runs that they used to get up on and a punch in them out? If you have to give one team throughout that time span that type of credit that could do it, it would have been my Rockets with James Harden and Chris Paul. They was the only ones at that time knew how to punch the Warriors right back in the mouth and come back to it, because they was down at that point. They were down at that point 3-2 to Chris Paul got hurt, and then all hell broke loose on that one. Everybody know what happened in that series. But now this time, hey, Sacramento Kings say we can take a shot in the mouth, we can take a punch, but they proven they can come back from that punch in the mouth. Like Mo said, he said it last night when we were watching the game. Golden State got on this huge run. They got down by 2 points. Matter of fact, they tied the game. They tied the game up at 95 apiece. Sacramento took right back on off with 2 straight baskets and a 3 by Davion Mitchell to put the game away. So they battle tested. They proven they can take a punch in the mouth. And hey, I don't think I was surprised about it, and I don't think Mo was surprised about it. Was you surprised about it, Mo?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, and I'm we made our picks. I picked Golden State to win the series, and I was leaning on that championship medal. I was leaning on the fact that they were whole, even though Wiggins was going to be a little rusty. Wiggins played well last night. He played well in game 1. His problem is he just hasn't shot the ball that well from 3. But the Kings, their confidence is so through the roof. It feels like no matter what kind of run Golden State makes, they have an answer. And I like that late in the fourth quarter, instead of moving the ball around so much, Mike Brown just put the ball in Fox's hand and said, make a play. And every time down, he was able to create for himself or somebody else. Right now, I would say Mike Brown is actually out coaching Steve Kerr. It's not just that the players are outplaying him. Mike Brown seems to be a step ahead of Steve Kerr.
Yep. At that point, yep. So we got the next topic. Is Draymond Green a dirty player? And Draymond Green has a high reputation. We know what he did to LeBron James years ago. You know what he did to LeBron James. He kicked LeBron James, and he got suspended for that one game. And a lot of Golden State fans say, hey, he got suspended. But what about the other three he was down? What about the other three he was down? They lost the other three when he was down. That was just one game he got suspended. That was just one game he actually got suspended to make it a 3-2 lead. But he was down for three more other games. He was down for three more other games, basically the whole series but one game. And it might happen again for what we saw last night. I understand, Sabonis grabbed his leg. That was not a basketball play at all, it was a technical foul. But stepping on someone's chest, that's something you don't do. You could have cracked the man ribs or broke the man ribs. Sabonis was down for a long time. And Sabonis, this is one of those plays that Sabonis kind of got up on him, got the best of him, got him kicked out the game. And again, without Draymond Green, no matter how much we say he's a dirty player, we don't like him, he is valuable, to this Warriors team because he's basically their playmaker. He gets everybody a shot. And down the stretch, you can see they didn't have nobody to run the offense. Steph Curry, yes, he's an okay passer, but he's gonna look to score. He's gonna look to score. You had nobody to give up the ball. You have nobody to set up a play. You have nobody to make a play for a teammate. And they missed that on Draymond Green. And they may miss that on game number 3. They may miss that. So again, Draymond Green could have handled the situation way better. He said he didn't know he was right there, and he didn't know what he was stepping on. But again, come on, man, he stepped on him so hard, and he jumped up in the air. I think he knew Sabonis was right there. I'm not buying that he didn't know. If he would have probably fell down, then I would have given him benefit of doubt. He would have got the foul call. Now, Sabonis needs to be held accountable for this because he did grab his foot, so he did start it, and which is the reason why he got a technical. I didn't think that was worth putting him out the game, but he did. I've seen a lot of people grab someone's leg, and then it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything. But to him stepping on that man, that was a wrong thing to do. Draymond Green went too far up on that. That was absolutely wrong. And Draymond Green, that was the right call, kicking him out of the game. That was a flavor too. That was unacceptable right there. And I wouldn't be surprised if he take a 1-game suspension off that. So, Mo, what you think about that?
Look, what Draymond did was inexcusable. So, and I think you and I were on the same page last night. Maybe just our reactions were different, but we were on the same page. I wasn't making excuses for him at all. Only thing I was pointing out is when Sabonis grabbed him, he didn't hurt Draymond. But what if he had? What if he had twisted an ankle? I'm not making excuses. You can't curb stomp nobody in a basketball game. It's wrong. But that's a WWE move. You can't do that. Right? You can't do that. Now, if we're on the blacktop or at home in the hood playing ball out on the streets with the chain nets, I've seen that go down, but that's different. In the NBA, in pro basketball, you're probably going to get suspended for a game when they take a closer look. And if Draymond Green is suspended, Golden State's in trouble. I know a lot of times people kind of like diminish what Draymond Green does for Golden State. But what I want to remind people is this. He is going to go down when it's all said and done as one of the great complementary players in NBA history. Don't look at his scoring. Look at his assists. Look at his defense. And also look at his timely passes. Draymond is their point guard, essentially. And when you don't have him on the floor to do the dribble handoffs and the screens, because he doesn't set one screen, he does dribble handoff with Steph, then he goes and finds Clay's man, and he starts opening up the whole offense. Not to mention, even though he's a power forward, he can grab a rebound and do a hard push and open up the floor for everybody else. Very few power forwards can run with him in the open floor. It really does change not just their offense, but their defense, because he's their defensive captain. He calls out the picks. He tells guys when to rotate. He's the one that's going to take the charges. He's the one that brings the intensity. If they don't have Draymond Green, they're going to find themselves down 3-0.
Yep, they will. They definitely will for that. And it looked like that may happen if Golden State don't get their act together, especially if Draymond Green don't play. I mean, he is their facilitator. If the offense kind of runs through him with his playmaking ability and him to get Curry, Klay Thompson open shots and get everybody else open shots. So again, It was unacceptable last night. He could have handled it more better. If he'd have fell over, he would have got the benefit of the call. But and then for us,
you know what, Coach?
Go ahead.
I think Sabonis out Draymond because he won that battle. He won that battle. If he gets a tech, but he can get Draymond to react the way he reacted, it kind of reminds you how LeBron got him to react in the finals. LeBron won that. He won that. So, Draymond's problem is he kind of gets caught up in the, who's the man or whatever. You can't go by those rules in the NBA. He's usually the one that gets on the other team's skin. I think this time Sabonis just outdid him at his own game.
Yep. Outplayed him on the court and outdid him right out. Laying on the ground, grabbing his leg and getting Draymond Green to step on him. And you can tell when you do something like that, you're very frustrated. You're very frustrated as hell. And I'll say it's just the Warriors don't have.
Draymond had the nerve to get an X-ray on his ankle. He had an X-ray on his ankle.
Oh my goodness.
He is wild.
Oh my goodness. So we got the next topic. Can the Sixers beat the Celtics, Mo? Can the Sixers beat the Celtics?
No. No, I shouldn't be so plain like that. Let me back it up. Potentially, sure, if a lot of things go right for them, but just who's the better basketball team? It's the Celtics. The Celtics have two of the premier perimeter players on both sides of the ball in Tatum and Brown. The Celtics have their two, if you want to call them backups, Brogdon and what's the guy's name? It slips my tongue right now. Derek White.
Yep.
That they could be a starting backcourt together. Then you've got the Williams boys, and they both defend multiple positions, can shot block. Al Horford, steady veteran, still one of the best three-point shooters in basketball. Marcus Smart is one of those kind of guys. We talk about it all the time. Winning plays, defense, charge, timely threes, great pass, leadership. I don't think the Sixers can beat them in a series. Joel Embiid could average 40 points for that series, and they could still get swept. I don't think they'll get swept. I think that's a 6-game series, but I think the better team is Boston because top to bottom, they're not just deeper, they're just more talented.
Yep. And can they beat the Sixers if they keep it up? Can they beat the Celtics? They keep it up? No, they cannot beat the Celtics.
No, because they're not the Nets.
They're not the Nets. And the Sixers not even playing that well. They're not even playing that well. So you know they ain't beat Boston. You know they ain't beat Boston like that. We know Boston is going to make those shots down the stretch. We know Boston is going to have some better defensive adjustments. They got better players that can guard. Not that can guard, stop Joel Embiid, but that can contain Joel Embiid. They got better perimeter players. They got better scoring and everything. So, yeah, the key, can they beat them if they keep playing like this? The key, hey, the Sixers, they're not even playing well. They didn't even play well in game 2. They didn't play well at all.
Right. They're doing well enough to beat the Nets.
They're doing well enough to beat the Knicks. It's just the Nets are that bad. That's been that bad in the series. That's all it is. So again, they beat them in a defensive game, but you're not gonna get away with
Cal's that. Right. He would need to average 50. Yeah, 50 might get them a series win if he averaged 50.
And then they already Joel Embiid already had to drop 50 points just to beat the Boston Celtics. Without even Jalen Brown and Robert Williams. If Jalen Brown played that game, that would have been a loss. That would have actually been a loss because they only won by like 2. They only won by like 2 points. Yeah, that would have been a loss. That was another 30 points in the lineup.
Both teams hold. They're just better. They're just better. That's the cut and dry up. They're just better. You can look at them, and even as great as Embiid is, you can look at them and go, to beat the Celtics, they're like another piece away. They need something else to compete with Boston.
Yep. And Cam Johnson shot great in the first half, and he didn't shoot worth down at all in the second half. We couldn't see Cameron Johnson. You forgot he was on the court in that second half. You forgot he was on the court in that second half. So again, I think Boston is just a better team in that. So if you play like you did against the Nets, you're not beating the Boston Celtics. No. You're not going to beat them because Sixers are not even playing that good. They're not even playing that well of a basketball game. So we got Jaren Jackson Jr. winning the MVP. Y'all haven't saw his reaction yesterday when he was laying on the couch watching some playoff basketball. It was during the Sixers and the Brooklyn Nets when he found out he won the Defensive Player of the Year award. He won the Defensive Player of the Year award, and that's rightly deserving. He was dominant on the defensive side of the ball. He had more blocks than anybody in the NBA. Right call, an improved three-point shooter, improved player overall. Mo, what you think about this? What you think about Jaren Jackson Jr., getting his Defensive Player of the Year award, and his dad, yes, did play for the San Antonio Spurs as well. So what
I
you
remember
think?
him. I remember him. I think he wore number 2.
Yep, Jaren Jackson. Yep. He played for the Spurs. I think he got a title.
You know why I remember him, if I'm being real? Because I remember Spreewell dunking on him in the finals. I remember Spree dunking on him in the finals. That's what I remember. But no, look, he's deserving of it, not just because he led the league in blocks. He's deserving of it because he's one of the few big men who can play in space. He can guard wing players. I mean, he's that versatile defender. He's a terrific weak side defender. And as a man defender, he's as good as anybody. He really is. So, and it's a regular season award. He's deserving of it. What I would say is, if you looked at game 1 against the Lakers, you would have thought that Anthony Davis was the defensive player of the year. I'm just saying, what he did in the regular season is deserved. He's deserving of that award. He's terrific. And the thing about him is, he's nowhere near his peak. He's only going to get better. That he's on a pace, not just to be an all-star, but a superstar.
Yep, he is. I think he's about to hit that level, man. I think he's about to hit that level. And him being great, being turned into something good on the offensive side, being able not to just shoot the three, but having a little post up in his game. I believe that's gonna really help him out. I believe that's gonna really help him out in the long run. And the man is so long, man is so rangy, man. The man comes out of nowhere, block shots. Even he blocks shots at the rim. The man is gonna be tough. The man's gonna be tough for years to come, man. I like Jaren Jackson Jr. a lot. So again, Jaren Jackson Jr. is
well deserved.
I'll say he deserved it. He deserved the defensive player of
and
the
you
year.
Want to keep that. You want to keep that core together. You want to keep Jaren Jackson, Morant, Bane, their backup point guard, who I think is the best backup point guard in basketball.
Ty Jones.
That you want to keep that core together and add to it as you go on, because those guys are special talents, and you don't ever want to lose special talents.
Yep, you ain't lying about that. So they got 65 games minimum to win the award. What you think about that, Mo?
I think that's fair. I think that'll incentivize a lot of guys who want to win awards, who want to get individual accolades, to play more, to show up. It's a good first step by the league to try to get guys to be incentivized by playing more. Look, maybe they play a game and they only play 20 plus minutes or 30 minutes, but even that's better than them just being in street clothes. So I like this move by the league, and I think it's a good first step.
Yep, it's a good first step. Definitely. You can't reward players like from sitting out of games at this time. I think the stop players from sitting out games a lot too. Point, like I say, again, 65 games minimum to win an award. I believe I like that. I kind of like that a lot. So again, should the NBA take charges out of the NBA?
I don't think so. Look, guys run a risk of injury without even being touched. Zion Williams, all his injuries, they're not even contact injuries. Like, there's going to be injuries, but you gotta allow for contact. If you take a charge out and an offensive player is coming down and he's going to plow through a defensive player, what is that going to be? So that means that it's either a no call or it's a foul on the defender. Like, you're giving, look, the way they've changed the game, with the way the game's called, it favors the offensive players already. Most of the time when there's a bang play, it's a foul on the defender. Almost all, even when the offensive player initiates contact most of the time. Now you're going to say, we're going to take charges out, and one of two things are going to happen. It's a foul on the defender or it's a no call. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I think it's bad. I think it's basketball, man. I really think it's basketball, man, just because, Giannis got hurt doing that part. I don't think they should consider taking charges up out of the game, man. Come on, man. That means, so I say, if nobody allows to take a charge in the NBA at all, the paint that gets 1 inch closer to the paint being wide open, you already can't sit in the paint. You're already going to get caught 3 seconds in the paint. And just imagine if someone trying to take a charge and they get knocked over and there's no call right there. Or, you can't even just touch the paint like that at all. That means it's going to be more scoring inside the paint. It's going to be more scoring inside the paint, a lot more scoring inside the paint. So I kind of like
scoring and more free throw shooting.
Yep, more scoring, more free throw shooting. Yep, I don't kind of like that, man. You can't take something away from the game because someone kind of went down.
And look, guys that jump in the air like Giannis and like Ja that are high flyers to some degree, that's always a possibility when you play like that. You're vulnerable when you're that high in the air, and that happens. It doesn't happen often, but that's just part of the game. As long as I've been watching, I'm sure as long as you've been watching it, you've seen guys with crazy hops elevating from time to time. They get undercut or something like that. It's rare, but it does happen. I don't think it's so extreme now to where we're like, well, let's take that out of the game. If you take that out of the game, you're just finding another way, in my opinion, to make the game that much softer. You don't need to do that. And again, and you're also putting defenders. There'll be no point in stepping in when a guy is coming at you full speed. You might as well just step out the way because you're going to get a foul call, or he's going to get an and one, or it's going to be a no call if he runs into you. There is no benefit to the defender at all to take that charge now. That's crazy.
Yep, you ain't lying. Definitely agree with you on that one. And we switched to the NFL. We already know someone's got a big payday yesterday. Somebody's hands is itching. They got that money. You already know who it is. Jalen Hurts got paid yesterday. 5-year deal. 255 mil. 179 mil guaranteed dollars yesterday. He got paid. Came in as a rookie, got drafted, took over the last couple of games of the year, had a full season, led the Eagles to the playoffs. They got bounced out, but comes back next year. They get AJ Brown. He led them to the Super Bowl. It's mixed emotion for the Eagles fans. They say he deserved it. I say he deserved every penny of his money, that he deserved it. You can question, should he be the highest paid quarterback in the league, which is probably, that's the case as of probably right now. But other than that, again, he led the team to the Super Bowl. He's a very good leader to the team. He's a very good leader to the community side, especially down here in Houston, because he's from Houston and he played high school ball in Houston. But other than that, Jalen Hurts, got his back. And I'm proud of a guy like that I actually personally watched play football 25 minutes away from my home. And for what he did for his high school down here, like what he did, man, he's a great person, great player, and emerging to one of the quickest young stars in the game. So, Mo, what you think about the contract and what you think about Jalen Hurts as a whole, as a quarterback? Would he keep this up, or will it be some type of hangover? But do he deserve to be the highest paid quarterback in the league?
Well, first, let me start with what I think about him. I've watched him. You probably watched him longer, but I've watched him since he was at Alabama. I've watched him when he went to Oklahoma. What I can tell you is he's as fierce a competitor that you'll ever see. And he's one of those guys, he's not afraid to admit he wants to be great. He puts the work in. Like, there's a lot of guys that are gifted, but the guys that get into the lab that are more addicted to the game and getting better than anything else, there's a short list, and he's one of those guys that buys into it. He's a terrific leader. For his age, to be the kind of leader that he is, there are older, more seasoned players who aren't the kind of leader that Jalen Hurts is. This is a great deal for not just him. It's actually a cap-friendly deal in the bigger picture for the Eagles. It's a big number, but the way it's structured, they're going to be able to build around him and still add pieces to him. And look, in 3 years, guess what they can do? They can do exactly what the Patriots did with Tom Brady. Let's stretch it out. Let's restructure again. Jalen Hurts is not just thinking of himself. He's thinking big picture for the team too. So I don't know how Philly fans would have a problem with this because I think he's more than deserving of the money. Not any, and you can make a case with his age and his upside. He could have got greedy and asked for more. Philly fans should be glad to have this young man as their quarterback. He is a talent. I don't think there's going to be a hangover on his end. I think Jalen Hurts is going to come out and have as good or a better season next year.
Yep, definitely agree with everything you said up on that part, man. The man has improved as a passer, as a playmaker. Like I say again, he leads those guys out there the way he leads those guys out there. Again, he's got a very good skill set. He's a part of the run extension of the run game. You can argue, if they need a running back in the draft, they will address it at some point. But again, Jalen Hurts getting paid, he deserved to get his money. He deserved to get his money. The organization also is restructured around him pretty much as well as of right now. But Jalen Hurts, definitely deserves his money as a quarterback and his impact in the community, and it's also his impact for his teammates, man. You see him motivating a teammate every single time. When they make a mistake, you see him picking them up. And he's playing, like I say, he's a coach on the field. He's a coach on the field as well. And it's good when you have that coach on the field where you don't got to say too much to your players. And you got someone out there that can help you, especially quarterback and Jalen Hurts. See him out every time after the game. You see him letting the guys know what they got to get better at, and he let himself know what he got to get better at. So again, not only he holds the players accountable, he holds himself accountable. So again, it's gonna set like Michael said, they set the market for the Justin Herberts, who's close to getting paid. Joe Burrow is close to getting paid, and Lamar Jackson. What does it mean for Lamar Jackson? Mo, what does it mean for Lamar Jackson?
I'm gonna say what Michael said because I've been thinking of it all along. Get an agent, man. Get somebody that knows the ins and out of these negotiations, these contracts. Get somebody to advocate. You need an advocate that knows what they're doing. I get that you want to be your own dude, but to your own benefit, get an agent, an established agent, and get this deal done. I think if he already had an agent, he'd already have a deal done.
Yep. Yes, indeed. So we got the slate of games for tonight. We got three games. For tonight as well. So we got three slate of NBA games that we got to go over. So we got game two with the Atlanta Hawks and the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics thrash the Atlanta Hawks the first game. It wasn't even a game, pretty much. Game was over with at halftime. Game was really actually over with, done at halftime. Trae Young had a terrible game. Played an abysmal game. 5 for 18 in the game, 16 points, 8 assists. Jadante Murray, if you want to say he had an okay game, think he had a solid game. Wasn't a great game, but it was okay. 24 points. Really, nobody didn't do anything right for the Atlanta Hawks, and everything was right on the Boston Celtics side. On the Boston Celtics side, they had their way shot 47% from the field, 39% from the three as well. Boston had the most turnovers in the game, 17 turnovers. It still was a massive blowout. Boston, they both had 54 points in the paint. Boston shot the ball way better at 47%, and the Hawks was 5 of 29 from the three. Golly, Jesus Christ. Mo, what needs to happen in game two? What the Hawks need to be better at in game two?
I could just say everything, but everything. They need to be more aggressive. They need to match. The Celtics came out and punched them in the mouth and established immediately they were going to be more physical with them. They were going to get body to body, and Atlanta didn't respond. If Atlanta's going to get into this and make it a series, they've got to be aggressive and they've got to be ready for the physicality that the Celtics are going to bring to them. You've got Marcus Smart, who's an aggressive defender, Jaylen Brown, Tatum on the perimeter, and then Brogdon comes in and along with Derek White. And again, I keep telling people, I think Smart and Derek White are going to make, Smart will probably make first team All-NBA, but I think Derek White might make second or third team All-NBA defense. He's an underrated versatile defender. the Hawks have to just come out with a lot of energy. They're not expected to win, but that doesn't mean that you don't compete. They have enough talent to get into this series. I'm not saying make it a long series, but they're good enough to win a game. Now, if you ask me what I think is going to happen, I think they'll play. Look, they can't play worse than they did in game one, so they're going to play better. But even if it's a tight game, even if everything goes right for them, Boston would still win. Boston is just a better. Boston can have an awful shooting night, and I think they're the better team, and they would still make the plays to win a close game. Atlanta's best bet is to be able to attack. Play. They would like it if it was a track meet. If it was a track meet, it would favor Atlanta's skill set. It would favor Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. It would get John Collins out where he can be a finisher. Those kind of things bode well for Atlanta. But if you're going to make it about a system and execution in a half-court set, they're going to get blown out again.
We got our boy Dez in the building. Kind of woke up out of bed late. I get that all the time.
Dez, you got to stay out the clubs, man.
Hey, I haven't, man. It's been busy. It's been busy at work, man. I got home I think like 4:00 in the morning. So I just it's been busy lately, man. So glad to be on the show, man. Love you guys, man. I agree with Mo on this take, man. I think Atlanta's best chance is going like a track meet. I think Boston's just so deep with their starting five and their bench and their deep versatility. They can beat you in multiple ways with their backcourt, their front court. So I just feel like Michael's comment. Yeah, I mean they play better.
They can use Meek.
So that's why I agree on it though, Mo. I agree with it, man. I mean, they just have no shot, man. You know, I know they're really underdogs, but they just have no shot. You know, if they do a track meet, that's their best bet.
Yep, Dez, so get you caught up. Is Draymond Green a dirty player for what he did last night? If you know what he actually did.
Yeah, man, you can't be. I mean, you can't be stepping on people's chest, man. Come on, man. Like you a grown man. I seen that, and I mean, I was at work, but I seen that a little video when I was on break. I'm just like, come on, man. Your team's already down. I understand the physicality. I understand it's a passionate game. But when you step on somebody's chest, that's messing with somebody's life, man. On a game and on a level where that's just foul. That's disrespect. So. In my opinion, I just feel that is a dirty player. That is a dirty player. You're already down 2-0. You're going back home, you know, take the L like a man and come back and get ready to play for game 3.
Let me ask you a question. So can two things be true? Can Draymond Green be a dirty player and a great player at the same time?
Yeah. I think so. You know, you had the Rodmans back in the day where he wasn't a dirty player. He was just physical. You know what I'm saying? He was just physical. I mean, you could say he's a little dirty, but I mean, Draymond could be a great player and still be dirty because he brings that physicality to the game, right? We see it with Dylan.
I was just throwing it out there because I was thinking, look, a lot of people might not want to hear this, but Chris Paul's a great player, but
yeah,
he's a dirty player.
Chris Paul's pretty damn dirty in his own way.
He is dirty, though.
They give him a lot of leeway, but he's pretty damn dirty. So I mean,
he can get like that. I seen Chris Paul. I seen Chris Paul do that. And Wake Forest, you go back to Wake Forest when he punched that man in the gut right there. Yeah, he got some dirty old ways. He want to.
He got. You could. I think in this NBA league now, you could be a dirty player, but a great player as well, though. To agree.
Sure. I believe you could.
Because you look at Dylan Brooks, dirty player, but he can shoot. He can shoot. We all see it. You know, Draymond Green, same thing. Chris Paul, same thing. You're gonna have that dog, that fight, that mentality. You look at Christian Braun. We saw the game against the Nuggets where Christian Braun and Anderson were tangling up, and you know, it wasn't no dirty foul or anything, but it was just Anderson showing frustration and throwing an elbow, and Christian Braun was like, "Hey, I'm not backing down." You know, so I just feel that brings a certain type of physicality to a team that may spark a team's run. You never know. So I agree. I agree with you, Mo. I think he's a great player. He can be a dirty player as well. But you gotta have that dog.
That's what I've always said about Draymond. Like, it's no doubt he's one of the great complementary players I've ever seen. But he doesn't just live in the gray zone. He passes the gray zone way too many times.
Yeah.
And and he's gotten a lot of breaks. Like even his interactions with officials, they let Draymond yell and get away with stuff and have longer conversations than anybody else. So it's no doubt that he's a great player, but he crosses the line more than a few times. Yep. And last night, like Coach said, you can't curb stomp nobody, man. You can't do that.
You can't do it. Like I said, you gotta take the L as a champ. Take the loss.
He is gonna take the L. He's gonna miss the next game. He's gonna take the L.
Yeah, and you think about that now. You see how detrimental that is to the Warriors now,
right?
Where and like Michael said, not only is that detrimental to your team, but look at your reputation now. You on live television. On live TV, and you're doing that. So now your team is now down, maybe down 3-0. You know, what's going to happen now with the Warriors? You might have an early exit for the Warriors. I mean, the Kings are just having their number right now.
Yep. So Jaren Jackson wins the Defensive Player of the Year. What you think about that?
It's well deserved. I mean, there's other candidates as well, but he's really versatile. He's lengthy. He definitely shows a defensive presence in the NBA, and I'm happy for him. When I saw that yesterday when I was working, I was actually happy for him. I started applauding myself. So I can't knock that. I mean, there's a lot more candidates that I felt were more well deserving, but I mean, he's done it. He's definitely a defensive presence in the game. So, but I felt there was more candidates. To be honest, like Jose Alvarado. I mean, he's hurt, but I mean, that's an underrated player. I mean, he's really sneaky with the ball. I mean, you think about it. I've never seen an NBA player literally. It's like a 2K player, literally like sneak up on a player and just try to get a steal. And it looks funny on TV, but you see that scrappiness, man. And so there's other players that I could name, but I mean, congrats to Jaren Jackson winning Defensive Player of the Year, though.
Yep. I mean, the way the Sixers playing right now, which ain't great. They're not playing great. And I don't think me and Mo already discussed it. They're not beating Boston if they play like this. I'm telling you that. They just getting by right now because Brooklyn ain't good. ain't that good. They ain't better. I'm not gonna say they're not good. They're not better than the Sixers as of right now. They can't score. So do you think the Sixers can beat the Celtics if they keep playing this way?
No, I don't think so. And I like Gene on our team, but I just don't feel they have that defensive presence, man. It's like we've seen it in game 1 with the Nets, and we might see it again. Like it's this whole kick it to the corner, dribble with James Harden, or the pick and roll game with Joel Embiid. They're not really a great defensive team. When they need to be, they struggle. They're starting to find their stride with their offense, but that only gets you so far. So I don't think they beat the Celtics. The Celtics just have too many people, too many pieces, like we discussed earlier. They have a great starting 5. They have a great bench that can hit you in multiple ways. They don't have to hit you with the 3. They're scrappy. They can hit you in the paint. They got people. So and they already know how to beat Joel Embiid. I mean, I know they had their regular season matchup, but like we said, Doc Rivers is great in the regular season, not great in the postseason. So I don't think they're going to get past.
And let's not forget, guys, that the Celtics, if you separate Al Horford and maybe Brogdon, that core, Tatum's 24, Brown's 25, 26. Even though he seems like he's been in the NBA forever, Marcus Smart is only 28. Like the Williamses are both 24 and 23. Like they're young. They've got some veterans mixed in there, but that core, the Celtics are a young team and they're already playoff tested. Like it's not like one of those things where they're an old veteran team. Like they're a young veteran team that's already playoff tested. Like if you look at the Sixers, Embiid's 28, and as great as he is, I would say he's an old 28 because he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to be playing at a high level in year 15 if he plays that long. Harden is still an elite player, but he's no longer a top 10 player. The Sixers are literally built, guys. They're built to win right now. The problem is they're not going to win right now.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Now, like if there will be 7 years in a row, they will be losing the second round if it were to happen. And you got to question Joel Embiid, what if he want to stay there or not. We know James Harden possibility he may not be back next year. So this team will be coming down. It'll be the end of Philly soon. And you're going to have to start talking about Doc Rivers' job being on the line. You're going to have to really start talking about that as well. Should he be on the hot seat? Not saying he should be fired, But that's a conversation you need to have talked about. You damn sure you need to have talked about at this moment. These jobs need to be on the hot seat. So there's how surprised are you other Sacramento Kings?
I'm not surprised at all. Actually, I even did my NBA bracket, the little challenge, and I even put the Kings as beating the Warriors in 4 games before the season even started, because the Warriors, we all talk, okay, they got Andrew Wiggins and we got the Suns and they're scary, but you think about it, the cohesion is actually really important in the playoffs. And you didn't have Andrew Wiggins at close to the end of the season. You kind of plugged and played him. The Warriors as well, they're kind of used to the what's it called? What we call it, Splash Brothers. Yeah, they splashing it, but they got to have a defensive presence. The weakest link, I think, and I always said this, is their center, Looney. He's really slow. He's really slow on rotations. He can get you boards, but he's so dang slow. He's not like lengthy where the point where he's physical. And you see what not Phoenix, but Sacramento's doing. They're driving to the lane and they're scrappy. They haven't been to playoffs in almost 16 years. The city's embraced them. The organization has embraced them, and it's been a difficult series for the Warriors. I think the Warriors really underestimated the Sacramento Kings, and the Sacramento Kings are just handing it to the Warriors right now. I mean, you don't have Draymond Green for game 3. You're going back home. You have the home court advantage you took care of. You're up already 2-0. I just think the Kings just have to weather the storm for this. Like Kyle said, they just have to weather the storm for this next game. If you win the next game, you already have the full momentum going forward to beat the Warriors. But I'm not surprised at all. I'm actually really happy. These young teams are fighting and giving a fighting chance.
Hey, Des, I'll be honest. I picked the Warriors to win this series. Not because I didn't respect the talent and what Sacto did this regular season, but I just thought in my head that the more experience, not just experience, the Warriors are still extremely talented veteran team that they are. The defending champs would find a way to get it together around playoff time. And I thought the Kings matchup would be a tough matchup, but I thought Golden State would win the series. I don't think I know, I'll admit it. I knew how good De'Aaron Fox was. I've watched a lot of Kings games.
Yep.
But watching him in this series, it seems like he got better. I hate to admit this, Coach. It feels like he got quicker. I don't know how you can get quicker, but he looks quicker. Malik Monk looks like a right-handed version of De'Aaron Fox. He got quicker, more athletic. Like they're shredding Golden State, and the thing about it in this series, Sacramento is getting a lot of easy baskets just on blow-bys. Golden State's not getting any. They're working for everything, and you saw the difference, Coach. You called this out when Draymond left the game. And Steph had to bring the ball up and create for himself with Davion Mitchell guarding him. It wore Steph down. You saw some of those shots that Steph took late. They were horrible shots. Horrible shots. He was worn down. He was frustrated. If they have to play a whole game without Draymond, that is going to be a challenge. I'm not saying it's a lock that they'll lose, but it doesn't favor them because of what Draymond does as a playmaker and what he does as a defensive player. I don't know how you replace that.
Man, you get ball pressure 90 feet from soon as the Sacramento put the ball in the basket. Then you have to run off screens and stuff like that. That's too much. That's tiring you out. And Davion Mitchell all up on you like that, gassing you out, and then you have no lift on them legs and that shooting arm and stuff like that. Hey, they making them work for every shot. But not only that they trying to come off screens, Sacramento is actually guarding it well. But then again, you got a coach that's been a part of that system that know what they do.
Brown.
They know they use a lot of ball movement like that. They know.
Guess who they're trapping off of? Yep. You know what they're trapping off of? They're trapping off of Looney because they're not afraid of Looney. Even when he's rolling to the basket, they're not afraid of Looney.
They're forcing Looney, hey, make a play. If you can make a play, we live with it. If you can make a play, we'll live with it. They're playing a lot of boxing one. They're going to trap the ball. They're going to trap the ball. Hey, dump it down to Looney all you want. Let's see, can you make a play? And Looney cannot make a play. And then the recovery, I like the way they kind of recover on those two. And Clay got to step up. Clay has disappeared too, man. He is just shooting a lot of unorthodox jump shots. Yes, he made a couple of them last night.
He looks tired, Coach.
He looks tired. He doesn't look good. Like I say, man, this Warriors team, it just seemed like right now, man, they're getting beat to every aspect of the game that that Coach Mike Brown is using against them, man, and it's really working. They just look slow, and Sacramento Kings, it just look like they're just kind of running like Sonic out there. Sonic cannot move. Sonic cannot stop. He's fast. That's how Sacramento is looking right now. That's how Sacramento is looking right now. They're a more faster team. You can just really tell they're getting into everything fast. They get into every loose ball fast. They go into the paint fast anytime they want to, and they just wearing Golden State down. So
I think Steve Kerr's got to do something dynamic. Maybe even go smaller. Put Kuminga at the 5. You're going to give up something on defense, but when you trap them, Kuminga's an explosive athlete. He can attack the rim a lot better. So at this point, when you're without Draymond, you're going to have to mix it up and become a little bit off kilter, a little bit different. You got to give the Kings different looks, because right now what you're doing, it's not working.
Yep, it's not working. You ain't lying about that. So what you think, Des, about Jalen Hurts? The boy got paid, man. The boy got paid.
He got the bag, man. He got the bag. Hey, it's well deserved, because look at the season he had last year. I know there's been multiple trade discussions, previous years. Is Jalen Hurts that guy, right? Is he the face of our franchise? We got to see what we have. He is. I mean, you look at his stats last year, he was 10th in passing. He was 3,701 yards, 14th in touchdowns, 22, and only had 6 interceptions, which was 4th in the NFL. And then we see what he does on the ground game. I mean, he gives you that dynamic to the point where, if he's a good passer, he can throw in the pocket, but then he can run as well. I mean, he's definitely stepped up his game. I think it's well deserved. The only thing that I'm scared about these contracts is injuries, which we all understand can happen. 2, can you live up to the contract? Now you got the bag. Now you're the face of that franchise. They're building around you during free agency. What can you do? Because it can't be just a one and done. You make a Super Bowl once and then you start fluking down. And then people are like, we just paid this guy so much money. But he has a calm, even keel demeanor ever since he's been in the league. He's had a lot of doubters. And the thing I like about it, I'm not saying because his agent's a woman, but he's have a whole network of women empowerment, which I thought was really unique coming into the league, because you have these superstar agents and I'll give you this big money, I'll give you the bag. And he's like, no, I'm staying true to me. Even his girlfriend, I think they had him on like a frenzy when his girlfriend was coming out on the field when they won the NFC Championship game. And he's like, look, I'm focused on the game. I'm focused on the grind, and he definitely gives back. So I'm happy for him. He's well deserved of it. And let's just see if he can live up to it, because we all know Philly is a harsh city with face of the franchise, man. We look at Donovan McNabb. We look at others like Michael Vick for the short career he had with Philly. But I'm happy for him. I'm really happy for him.
Hey, and I want to address the comment that Kyle said. Said that Tobias Harris needs to play like a max player. That's the Philadelphia organization fault. That's their fault for giving him that money.
Because they lost Jimmy Butler.
They lost Jimmy Butler.
So they had to overpay Tobias Harris to keep. It wasn't like Tobias Harris negotiated that, because they lost Jimmy Butler and they were on the verge of losing him. They had to overpay Tobias Harris. Look, if you paid him Tobias Harris half of what he makes, he is who he is as a player. He's always been a very good player, but he's not a star or a superstar. He's a complimentary player. Yep. I don't blame him for getting that contract. Blame Philly's management, because they bungled up the whole Jimmy Butler situation. We all know that Jimmy's the better player between the two. But it's not Tobias Harris's fault. He's played well. And let's be clear, when you bring James Harden to Philly and you've already got Embiid there, at best he could be the third option. But then Maxey comes up and he develops into a star in his own right. Tobias Harris, coach, you said it, he is their fourth option. And when you're your fourth option, you're not going to be in rhythm all the time because you don't get as many touches.
Yep, your touches is gone. Your touches in a minimum now. Now you expect them to play like this max player. But the problem, like I said last night in the group chat, the shit that the fans give him, saying he making all this money, can't do nothing. Hey, I realize the man a fourth option now. Got James Harden coming in now, controlling the ball, running the point guard situation. You got Maxey, who's getting a lot of touches. Now you got to go in to side to Joel Embiid. Basically, Tobias Harris is a goddamn spot up. And when he does get the ball, You see I see why he's trying to post up and try in different ways to make most of his opportunities. And he's been averaging 20 points per game in this series. So he's been a big help. But again, the Philadelphia 76ers botched that contract situation with Jimmy Butler. Instead of paying Jimmy Butler, and Joel Embiid came out and admitted it, that they should have paid Jimmy Butler. They should have paid Jimmy Butler, which should have been the right move, and they should have let Tobias Harris walk. They didn't. They chose Tobias Harris over to Jimmy Butler, and I can't be mad at Tobias Harris from getting that money. But like I say, he's still averaging, giving you 20 points. He still can score 20 points a night. So I'm not going to give him so much shit about that. That's an organization fault. The organization gave him that money. If to be that's fourth option money. Man getting paid fourth option, not getting paid fourth option money. He's getting paid a great amount to be a fourth option. Hell yeah. I'll take the money too. If I can get 20 points a game, I'll take that damn money too. I'm fourth option. Yeah, I'll take that money too. But I am putting 20 points in these playoffs.
Let's not kill Tobias Harris anyway. I mean, if we're going to kill somebody, look at Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
They gave away 4 number ones and players for that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like for that guy, as if when we get Gobert, finals. And I look at them and they look like first round exit.
They nowhere near a finals team. They nowhere even close to being a finals team.
And you went all in on that, and you stuck with him because ain't nobody bidding for that. You stuck with that.
I was gonna comment on the Rudy Gobert. Since I was on the show yesterday because I was sleeping. For Freddie's sake, we had to use the mercy rule. So with that game, so if I'm gonna put on the show now. So if Freddie got off the chat before we were getting hot. I said we're gonna warm up, and we did. And I think Denver's is cooking, man. It's cooking. Minnesota has a problem. You got the only person I respect on that team right now is Mike Conley. That's it. I don't respect any other player on that team.
That's the pros pro.
Because he's a pros pro. He said it's only one game, but you got to think about it, man. Like it is one game. Don't get me wrong. But one thing about Denver, when Denver gets a confidence and they get that stride and that rhythm, it's like the Kings. It's going to be hard to stop. And it's really disappointing for Rudy Gobert. Like he started off okay with a defensive presence, like you said, but like it's sad. You traded all that assets and look who you got. Now you stuck with a guy that you may not want a part of your franchise. You may use him as a trade asset, but who wants to trade for that?
You're not trading him. Dez, I'll say this. Because you never know what you're getting from game to game with Cat. Cat may very well come out in game 2 and look like a superstar. He might, because you don't know. Yeah. You never know. Yeah. Or he'll look like a superstar for a half, and then he'll take the rest of the game off. He's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I have no idea what you're going to get from Cat from game to game. What I do know is you're not going to be able to trade Rudy Gobert. If you're going to want to get better, if you're going to keep Edwards, you're probably going to end up having to move Karl Anthony Towns. That's what's going to happen. He's the only tradable asset you have that other teams would want. Nobody's going to break the bank for Rudy Gobert. You bid against yourself to get him. Nobody else is going to do that. I don't know how Danny Ainge keeps doing it, but he is a master salesman.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying about that. You ain't lying about that. So one more topic for this to keep him up on. Jaren Jackson Jr. Winning the Defensive Player of the Year award. What do you think?
Oh, I think we talked about this one, but I'm happy for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy for it, man. I mean, like I said, I can't knock it. I'm not even looking at the MVP race. If Joel Embiid wins it, man, I'm happy for that because you can just see Nikola Jokic just deserves it. He deserves, of it, and Joel Embiid's well deserved and a great season this year. Like I said, I mean, I'm down for playoff basketball now. I love the play-by-play we did, Coach, because that was fun right there, man.
You actually took a lot of pressure off me too. Pressure off me. You pretty good at that. You're actually pretty good at
I appreciate it, man.
So we go to the Atlanta Hawks. Game 2 coming up with Boston. What do the Hawks need to do better to try to come out and win this game 2 to even the series?
The only thing I can say is just like Mo said earlier, it has to be a track meet. Boston is so glued, that starting 5 with the playoff experience that they have. I think Trae Young and maybe another 2 or 3 other players have some playoff experience, but it's like it's so young and so like out of whack that they could just have a fighting chance of just running if they run. And we've seen it with young teams like Sacramento. You could put Denver in there. young, running. Memphis, they young and running, but then they just stumbled, you know. So I just feel if the Hawks can get at least one game out, you probably have to shoot some threes, man. You have to be lights out shooting threes or something like that, running and gunning. But I say Boston has the upper hand here. I mean, home court advantage, and they have a team. They have it. They have it solid. So,
Yep. Again, I will say this one thing about Atlanta: they need to pray. That's what I'll say. They need to pray. They need to pray. That's all I can really got to say about that. They need to pray that they something they can come out. They can come out. They need to put a curse on Boston and pray. That's all they need to do. Or get a voodoo doll or something and stick one of the Boston players so they can get put out of the game. But other than that, this the way the game one went. This not even much of a matchup, pretty much. But we're gonna go to a game. We're gonna go to another game in another series that will be a great series. Outside of that series, it will be New York Knicks and Cleveland Cavaliers game 2, a game that we know that will maybe competitive like it was the first game. First game results of this game, you got Cleveland shot 43%, made 2 more threes than the New York Knicks. They got to the free throw line 21 times. It was even both teams, and Knicks got to the free throw line 22 times and made 86% from the free throw line. The New York Knicks outplayed them on the defensive glass, outplayed them on the offense and defensive glass. 51 rebounds, 17 offensive rebounds. The Cleveland Cavaliers got punked on the boards with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. No ball movement whatsoever by neither team. 18 to 20 assists. Cleveland had 14 turnovers. As well. Points in the paint belongs to the New York Knicks. So the New York Knicks out-physical the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Evan Mobley, if you want to win, they want to win this game. He's got to be better. He's got to be better playing. He only had 8 points. Not going to get it done by Evan Mobley. Jared Allen, had 14 and 14. But again, Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart, they were too much on the offensive boards and on the rebounding edge. And Darius Garland, you need to take more than 13 shots along with Donovan Mitchell. Take some pressure off Donovan Mitchell. But other than that, the Knicks played so well in that game defensively. Jalen Brunson made a clutch shot at the end of the game to put it away. Josh Hart also made a big time 3 in that game in a big time mid range. But Josh Hart, 10 rebounds. Julius Randle had 10 rebounds. Mitchell Robinson had 8. Hartenstein had 5. It was a rebounding. It was a rebounding contest basically for the New York Knicks, and they dominated, and Cleveland didn't put a body on nobody in this game. So, Mo, what does Cleveland have to do better to win game 2? And who you got in game 2?
Well, I think for sure they need more production from Allen and Mobley. They're 2 big guys. They've got to be big. They've got to match the physicality that the Knicks bigs brought to them. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, both long, both talented. They have to be a factor, not at just grabbing rebounds, protecting the paint, but offensively. Both of those guys can give you double figures in scoring. They're not 30-point players. Evan Mobley's still developing, but he's got a nice face-up game. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit. He's got to play more aggressive. Jared Allen, to me, you don't have to run plays for him, set picks, let him rim run. He can actually get baskets without plays being run for him. My concern with Cleveland was defensively, they just seemed to let the Knicks get everything they wanted. Look, the Knicks won that game with quickly shooting terribly. RJ Barrett was like 2 for 18. It was insane. They didn't play well. Randall didn't play well. What happened was they had timely plays by Josh Hart. Jalen Brunson came alive, was big down the stretch. I have this series going 7. I picked the Knicks to win the series, but I actually expect Cleveland to come out and win game 2. I think you're going to see a better Darius Garland. You're going to see the same Donovan Mitchell in attack mode as usual. They have to get some kind of production off their bench. Karis LeVert's got to give them something off that bench. He's really the only natural scorer off that bench. He's got to be more aggressive, more productive. If those things happen, I expect Cleveland to win tonight.
Yep. Again, Josh Hart, a lot of his rebounds come off second chance effort. Nobody putting a body on him. You got to find Josh Hart and put a body on him, because when this dude comes in the game, he's giving an all-out effort. So again, they got to be more aware. They got to put a body on somebody every time a shot goes up. And Kyle said they got a feeling the Cavaliers are going to turn him into the Donovan Mitchell, into the Utah Jazz. When Donovan Mitchell, just basically will take over games. The Jazz wasn't good enough to win. They weren't good enough to win. They ain't like Donovan Mitchell lost every game he showed up. Just got to have somebody else to show up in a ball game.
And it's got to be Garland.
Yep. Garland got to take more than 13 shots, I believe. He's got to take more than 13 shots. He's got to be aggressive.
Exactly. That was my key for Cleveland. Garland has to be involved. Mo, you hit it around the nose. Allen and Mobley definitely had to crash the boards. They're bigs. You're bigs. They call you bigs for a reason, right? Get big, get physical. When I seen that last game, I'm like, you got Josh Hart just grabbing rebounds. That extra effort. This is the playoffs. That extra effort, that scrappiness, that counts. Osman as well. I know he played with LeBron James. He's kind of a factor, defensively, right? A little bit scrappy guy, can give you some good assists. Where are you at? He needs to show up. For the Knicks, Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart played together in college, I believe.
Yeah.
So that continuity, and I think I seen the video on Facebook where when they made the call to Brunson, hey, your boy's coming to New York, that excitement. So that continuity right there, that's great. Julius Randle definitely stepped up in the three-point game, definitely stepped up in the assist and the rebounds. I think we talked about this earlier in the show in previous episodes. The Knicks with that playoff experience, when it came down to crunch time, I just didn't like how Cleveland just depended on Donovan Mitchell. It was like a bailout. And he can't do it all by himself because this is a series, not a one-game series. It's a series. So it's multiple games. That's going to wear you down if you keep on making those shots. Like Kyle said, it's like the Utah Jazz all over again. He has to take over a game just to give you a fighting chance. Your supporting cast is supposed to help you out. So I think for Cleveland, get Garland involved. He needs to take more than 13 shots. Drive, get to the foul line, do something, be physical. And Evan Mobley and who was the other guy again? Sorry, guys. Jared Allen. I seen when he was playing with the Nets, he was physical. He was getting more rebounds there than he's doing here in Cleveland. Be more physical. You're at home, at least type the series because you're losing home court advantage if you lose. So, and then if I'm the Knicks, hey, Tom Thibodeau, he thrives on defense, extra effort. Do it again. I think they need to get more involved in the bench, but
Devs was making a great point. The Cavs have to win the 50-50 battle. They have to do the little things. And you can't get caught watching Donovan Mitchell do everything. You're right. Yep. If all they do is watch him play, then this becomes the Eastern Conference version of the Utah Jazz. But they've got another guy that can give you 30. Evan Mobley is a gifted, talented scorer. He seemed like he got caught up in watching Donovan Mitchell too. If Donovan Mitchell ends up being the only guy that's in attack mode late in games, it's going to wear on him. He needs somebody else to step up and take some pressure off of him. I think Evan Mobley can do that. I think for sure Garland can do that because Garland is gifted off the dribble. He's got a bag. They need a more aggressive Darius Garland. Matter of fact, I would expect coming out in game 2 that they're going to make a point to try to get Darius Garland involved early and often.
Yep. And we go to the last game, which is the Los Angeles Clippers get a big win against the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns 115-110. 44% from the field. The Suns shot 47. They shot better from the field. The Clippers shot better from the three-point line at 32%. Made 10 threes. The Suns only made 6 from downtown. Both teams got free throws, so you can't say the refs was bad at playing this game. 29 free throws from the Clippers, and the Suns had 33 free throws. So the Suns had more free throws than the Clippers, 4 more free throw attempts. Offense rebounds, Clippers dominated in the rebound department. Zubac dominant on the boards. Russell Westbrook dominant on the boards when you needed them to be. 15 offensive rebounds. You had 4 blocks, 14 turnovers for the Clippers, and 10 turnovers for the Golden State Warriors. For the Suns, points off turnovers, Clippers capitalized on those. 14 points off turnovers, turned them into 15 points off turnovers. Fast break points, the Suns got more fast break points than them. Points in the paint, the Suns own that. But the problem was the 50-50 balls that the Clippers were getting. The Suns don't have any damn depth either. Their depth is horrible. When you look at that game, the Suns don't have any type of depth coming off the bench, and I think that may fall into play. The Clippers may have the deepest bench in the league, pretty much. They may have the deepest bench that I probably have seen. You got guys like Norman Powell, who probably can play and start on any team. You know, Eric Gordon can start on any team. Only reason he started because of Paul George is out, and you put Paul George in that lineup. He's coming off the bench. Giving you production. Bones Highland can fill it up off of the bench. Terrence Mann coming off the bench, giving you 10 points. Norman Powell had 14 points. Plumlee has 7 points and 11 rebounds. You had 3 guys in double-digit rebounds for the Los Angeles Clippers. Russell Westbrook had 11. Zubac had 15 rebounds. So a lot of 50-50 balls by the Clippers. And much as a lot of people give Westbrook so much shit, 3 for 13, 3 for 19. That's what people are going to look at. A lot of people are going to look at. But you look at the deflections, the loose balls that he got, that one-handed rebound that he got, the block shot on Devin Booker that he got, impacted the game. Just impacted the game and took over that game. And the Suns, they're going to have to depend on their starting 5 to win this series or to win any series because they don't have any bench depth at all. You got, Okogie playing 7 minutes, giving you no points. Shamit, you playing 24 minutes and you're only getting 4 points. That cannot happen. Especially in the playoff run. So you got guys that play 7, 5, 24 minutes, 8 minutes, and not give you nothing on the bench. While you got the whole starting 5, they basically giving you double figures, except Chris Paul. So Mo, what do the Suns need to do better to win this ball game?
So if I told you that Torrey Craig was going to give you 22 points, you'd probably say Phoenix is going to win. Like, remember, they got 22 from Torrey Craig and they still lost. Like, if he gets what he normally gets, which is like, 6 points a game, or it would have been a blowout. Like, they got a monster game from Torrey Craig. They got a good game stat-wise from Ayton. KD and Booker put up numbers. They didn't put up monster numbers, but they put up numbers. But they're going to need Chris Paul to give them 15 to 16 points. And the best way to get that out of him, you can't play him 38, 39 minutes. You can't do that. I don't know what the situation is with Campaign, but I think Campaign's a very good backup point guard. If he's injured, then I understand why he's not playing. But other than that, you have to get something off that bench. We talked about this long before the playoffs. What my problem was with the Suns. They're top heavy. They have no depth. They just got a bunch of guys. You got Biyombo, you got Landale, but those are 2 bigs, and they're both bigs who can't make free throws. So late in games, I'm fouling them. I'm putting them at the free throw line. The odds are with Biyombo, he's gonna miss both of them. Landale might hit one. Like what they don't have is firepower coming off that bench. I thought they brought in what's the guy from Orlando? Terrence Ross, who was a scorer. He was a bucket getter in Orlando, and it just hasn't worked out. He's been a non-factor, but they're going to have to get Ross some minutes and try to get him going. He's a natural scorer. I don't know why he struggled in Phoenix, but they need to get some kind of production off that bench. They're relying too much on the starting 5. And if you're gonna say I need KD and Booker both to drop 30 throughout the series, that's a lot. Because now you're asking not just Chris Paul to play 38 minutes, you're gonna have KD and Booker playing in the high 30s. Over the course of a series, that takes a toll. It does, because the Clippers literally could go 10 deep if they wanted to with their wings.
Des, what does Suns need to do better to win game 2? And who you got in game 2?
So I think the Suns, Mo hit most of my topics on the head. They have to be better with their bench. I know that meeting was probably like, hey, it reminds me kind of how Dallas was with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, right? You get a superstar, oh my gosh, we're scoring all these points. Yeah. The biggest problem is defense. I mean, their defense, they got a little bit better, but defense, it took KD almost the end of the first quarter just to warm up a little bit, right? With his scoring and stuff like that. And I looked at it from a bigger picture. If they didn't have KD scoring them buckets, they would have lost that game easily. Because the fact, Mo was right. They got guys that can start for any NBA team. Bones Highland, Plumlee. They have guys that got boards that can contribute minutes. And Shamit, That's sad. You played 24 minutes and only scored what, 6 points? That's sad.
4
I
points
mean,
in the game.
they need to be aggressive. I think Phoenix wins this game tonight. I think they realize, hey, we are down. We're already down 1-0. We need some fight. So they need to figure out that backup point guard situation though, because that is a glaring hole right there for them. Because you need to have a different ball distributor, a change of pace than just Devin Booker. Because Devin Booker can give you that pass, but he's more of a scorer. You know, he wants to get the buckets. And even the last possession, I think they should have gave it to KD. He was hot all game. He was definitely making some threes. I would have not done the drive. And you got to give credit to Russell Westbrook and the Clippers. They're playing hard-nosed defense, getting up on shooters. But I say Phoenix wins this game tonight. I think Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are definitely going to score some points, but Chris Paul needs to contribute. If your shot's not going, assist the ball like you were doing, but be more physical because you can't be playing on 39 minutes at his age. It's going to wear them down easily because you need help from your supporting cast. That's what the playoffs are about. It's not just the starting five. It's about your bench as well to get you a deep run.
That's a great point, Des. I actually think Phoenix wins game 2 as well. It's to me, it's a must win. It's a must win. I expect them to win game 2, but I don't think the Clippers are going away. I don't think this is another series that I could see easily going 7 games. They're not going away. And Coach, I love that you touched on the fact people want to kill Russ for going 3 for 19. Bad shooting night. There's no way around that. But the plays that he made throughout the game, especially late in the game, if he doesn't make those plays, they lose. Those are winning plays. Those offensive rebounds, that defense, we lost count on how many deflections the man had. Like he got his hands on everything. I lost count. He was so active on defense. He was blocking shots from behind. Like he was terrific. He was terrific. And here's what I'll say: if you're a Suns fan, don't expect him to go 3 for 19 in game 2. I don't know what it's going to be, but he ain't going to go 3 for 19 in game 2. If Russ can play a clean game mean not have the 5-6 turnover games. Even if he shoots, let's say, I don't know, 6 for 15 or something like that. If he still plays with that energy, if he still plays defensively the way he played, that's going to be a problem. Russ is the kind of guy that can have a bad shooting night and still impact you winning the game with all the other things that he does. His heart, there's a lot of people that have a variety of skill sets, and I said this before. Heart is not a skill set. That's just something that's within you. That guy's heart, that's something that is unique. Like you wish, there's a lot of players in the NBA, you wish if they had Russ's heart, they'd be superstars.
Yep, definitely. So raise of hands, whoever is picking Atlanta to win game 2. If you raise your hand, you want for Atlanta to win this game. So I guess nobody. I guess no fill up on that one right there. But again, it looked like that's gonna be a long series. Atlanta look like they're gonna have a quick exit at home. So at the end of the day, man, we recap our games of the day. And like I say, very good morning show this morning. My boy Mo, always on. Des woke up out of bed kind of late, but hey, I get that too. I woke up out of bed late a couple of times too. So hey, that morning will get you, huh? That morning gets you real good. Other than that, Mo, tell people they can follow you at.
Here, Sports Empire Network. I'll drop another episode of the NBA Cypher tomorrow. Other than that, be ready to do coffee and sports in the morning.
Yep. Des, tell the people they can follow you at.
Hey, thank you, fellas.
Thanks,
I'll definitely be up, man. I got the alarm set and everything, so I won't miss another one. You can follow me on Instagram, Desmond 2015-234 here at Empire Sports Network. Coach Mo, we definitely got to do another play-by-play. I'll even do a Laker play-by-play. I'm not even a Laker fan. I'm down to do another play-by-play with you, man.
Let's do it. Hit me up. All y'all do tell me. I'll be ready. Y'all know y'all gonna find me at y'all can find me right here and on my channel. I will be doing the Clippers and the Suns game 2 tonight. So y'all know y'all can catch me at. So make sure y'all hit that like, that subscribe. If you're on Facebook, get that like, that follow, man, for us. And as for Coach Dante, my boy Mo, and my boy Des, we see you guys later tonight for the Phoenix Suns versus the Los Angeles Clippers. See you guys later, y'all.
Peace.